And welcome back, level 4 of the Tomb Raider anniversary. Just following the basic path of 4 stages at one stage per video, and Tomb of Qualopec. And when you actually look about all the names Inca rulers had, Qualopec doesn't sound too implausible. But time to do a really scarily difficult jumping maneuvers over this little chasm, which of course would be carrying a dangerous thing. So here it is, main room of the Tomb of Qualopec. It's a big space with a very big and prominent looking trap of a big rock. Although it is quite easily avoided. And it smashes, and because of, with gameplay mechanics it also makes all the bits disappear. But the clear path and to get easily down to the tomb itself is no longer present. So it becomes much more about trying to now figure out where to go. So time to just move some different pieces around again to open up pathways to maneuver and all that. Oh yeah. Structures are quite simple, and I would say that at least when comparison to the original one, Anniversary has these levels. You could say arranged in bit more. You could say. I think could the word be said in more linear fashion, which means that the stages apparently have they do look way open-ended, but once you start to solving it, it becomes very quickly clear that it really is not that much open-ended, with it being quite clear that yep, you really can't get to this location without going through this location first. So that would be ouch. So that would make it so that you really can't get through many places unless you go through in specific order. And that's you could say it's both good design and bad. Good design in the sense that it makes gameplay usually flow much more smoothly. You can arrange set pieces and dramatic action sequences better, but it also makes it so that it becomes much harder to complete. Now I figure it out. I have to move this pillar to work as a you could say a platform, so I can get to the other side. Oh yes, that is the way I have to do it, and luckily because of the more smooth controls I can do it with way easier way. Just jump here and jump here and it's done. So So. And more of these, you could say, gymnast pole jumps, and more of these arrow traps now as well to make it have a bit more interest. And that's a deathly pit down below, real intimidating looking with that black stylings and empty black void being there. And jump to the ladders and jump to the arrow path again. Yep, just you could say a regular jumping puzzle, but made more complex by addition of the adding element of timing puzzle by adding the arrow shoots through it. Oh yeah, that wasn't really complex puzzle at all, that one. Yep, got through that. And it's a big chamber up here, something prominent and big and important. And of course there would be all kinds of stuff to climb on. So... jump on the pole. And it goes to here, so it's time to jump to the another pole. I really like that when the game design makes it so that you can observe all the elements of the action before you have to go and make a, you could say, decision of where to go. Yep, first door of the Tomb of Falopek open. Oh yeah, there was a chance to make some. There was a chance to do some Tarzan swing, but that proved to be unnecessary. And for extra level of complexity, add big swingy blades to the mix. And I think that might have been the only. And a ill-tempered reptile as well. Yeah, just a regular combat challenge puzzle. Just to make it return more interesting. And jump through that. And jump through here and just crawl back through all this path. And once again through getting through that. And I really don't remember that was it so that if you would, in a sense, physics wise very unrealistic, but gameplay wise understandable design choice of basically that when you are, if you would be going and then just happen to fail your jump, as in get stabbed by the sharp spike at the end, it would stop, basically just kill your momentum, meaning that yep, and if there would be a pit down there, it would be just mean you would be falling to your death. But that would be another, you could say, puzzle to open it. And of course this room would also have a piece of the Oops, but that didn't work. Alright. Oh yes, now I know why it didn't work. It's a double swing puzzle, which are quite common puzzles when you do a game featuring this kind of big jump and swing puzzles. You swing once, but you have to swing again as well. Quite common little problem, but that opens up the first path. There's just one path left, and that game is quite liberally giving me checkpoints. To get me through this little puzzle, but so of course it would also be that now I could have been able to break through all that with my first trip across the room, but I personally think that gameplay is designed to flow in manner that you would first go with the first path, or better say path with one pillar required, and then you would basically just organically switch to the other on your return trip. But there is, of course, you could say, slight variation that you could have been just going through practically any order, because you could have climbed that path at any phase. But still getting forward, and in the original one, well, this tomb was quite well. It felt bigger. Many of these locations either felt or were bigger. Oh. This was unexpected. It was a secret. I thought it was a death. Well. Oh yes, and it does follow the video gamey design choice of killing your momentum with if you get hit by the spikes during the travel across. Not the most elegant choice, but definitely you could say functional choice. I'll just jump through here, and Laura can do some minor adjustments regarding her trajectory of jumpings, like from that. This, you could say, looks very suspicious. Completely collapsing the floor. God damn. Now, I have no idea. Could you just avoid this fight encounters and puzzle by being really fast about your maneuverings? It might be possible, but if it is possible, I failed to do it. So, another, you could say, movement puzzle. And I think this kind of, you could say, gameplay pacings choices are quite, you could say, visual clear nowadays, that you get some level. There's some level of, you could say, might be a action sequence to give you some wake up from the action, and then there would be a moment of moment of, you could say, environmental puzzle to solve. Yep, I know what's the what I need to do. I just need to kind of find out where it is or what it is. Is it that I have to reach this block from here? It's plausible. Can't do it. Oh yes, there it is. Now I think I knew the solution. It was right here. Going a big and containing income mummy. Creepy as it is, as it might be, Incas did practice human sacrifices. Children. Not the, you could say, the most nice thing, but they had a bit of different morals, and as much as it can be inferred about these, well, most likely Incas were people who treated their human sacrifice as well, discounting the obvious part of human sacrifice. I don't think personally you could say that you would want to make human sacrifices in manner that you would abuse, well, beyond what the basic being a human sacrifice abuse is. But just jump from the pole to pole, and then to the another of these pipes, and good old-fashioned gymnast jump, and more poles, but this time with a, you could say, more prominent location and some extra maneuverings to open up the third and last pathway back to the tomb of Qualopec. And just a way to get out. Need to do some maneuvers again. Up and jump. But now, as I would make a little bit of, you could say, ponderings about the basic of plot. Yeah, Atlantis is basically where it's a sunken continent. It could be location anywhere, and it's ancient, so it could be something like a basis for lots of cultures. But I would still wonder, yeah, it's spoilers, that the other two locations being explored are Greek and Egypt. And I could understand if Atlantis was, well, it's basically Greek myth, was a Greek area, then Egypt and Greece make sense as locations of these tombs and prominent locations of the Atlantis. But Peru does not make sense with that context. Why would there be Peru? And of course there's one story which was something that the Atlantis was actually a pre-Ice Age civilization in Antarctic, which then scattered all over the world. The survivors scattered all over the world and became, you could say, the big grand civilizations, which explains why there is this kind of common themes about, or common stories about of the great floods and that kind of big, huge natural disasters, which I would kind of find strange. But still, Peru is a quite of odd choice regarding compared to the Greece and Egypt. But let's just get going. There it is. The first piece of Skion and Qualopec.
Here sits the god King Qualipec, one of the triumvirate, keepers of the 3 pieces of the Skion, diviners of its knowledge, sacred rulers of Atlantis.
Well, looks like Qualipec didn't like Skion being stolen. But of course, Skion being a artifact floating in the air is kind of spooky. So what would be so that would be kind of a sign of that. Yeah, it's quite impressive, impressively potent artifact. Oh yeah, and there's also aim fires, which can be used, but it's not necessarily. Grab it and yep, much more of a, you could say, dramatic show of telling that yeah, get the hell out of the place. And of course the levels be
I'd love to join you, but I forgot my trucks.
Why am I not surprised?
You got your job, I got mine. I'll take it from here.
I hope Natla sent you here with more than that shotgun.
Don't sweat it, kitten. I prefer a more hands-on approach.
This is only one piece of the Skion. Where's the rest of it?
Give me a minute. I'm thinking. Whoa, makes no difference to me. Pierre's probably already found his piece.
Pierre Dupont? Where?
Now that I don't know.
All right. I'm convinced.
Damn, you really had me going there. Looks like our girl's pulled it off.
Of course she has. Now it's up to you.
Not that I'm complaining, boss, but what makes you so sure she's not gonna bring it back herself?
Lara would never part with the Skion. She's far too obsessed with it, just like her father. Ah, Monsieur Dupont. You have something to report?
Good news, madame. Your information was correct. I have located my piece of the schema. Voila! It is buried under a place called...
St. Francis Folly.
Oh yeah, that would be ending this episode right here. The first you could say arc of the game is over. Peru with a dump of Qualopec, and it seems that Lara's employer is kind of you could say playing a game of her own. Plot is getting thicker, but still ending this episode right here. See you next time. See ya.
I've acquired new evidence that leads me to believe it is the Skion itself that is in some strange way a vast library of information to rival even Alexandria. I am now convinced that if I can obtain it, I will finally discover what happened to my beloved Amelia.
Oh, Pierre, you litterbug.